This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let us get started with this today's session. Yeah, before we getting started, give me a sec. Okay. Okay, so let us get started with the today's session on AWS Machine Learning Specialty Certification demo. So before we getting started, a quick verification. Let me quickly make sure whether my screen is visible for you and if my audio is clear enough. Please use your chat window to confirm me by saying yes. So please let me know. Just tell me yes in a chat window if my screen and if my audio is clear enough for you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for mentioning all those yeses. I really appreciate that. Okay. So let us get started with the today's session. I will appreciate everyone for making your time, making your valuable time for this 2 hours, a complete demo on AWS Machine Learning Specialty Certification. Okay. So before we actually getting started, okay, so I just want to understand my audience, obviously, right, my dear audience. So I just want to know, like, so you guys are coming from a different backgrounds. I know there are students, there are working professionals, right? So I just want to know, like, if you are a working professional, let's say if you're a working professional, just mention W in chat window. Okay, if you're a working professional, just feel free to mention W in a chat window. If you're a student, make sure you just mention S for student in a chat window. Okay, so let me know how many people are here, students and working professionals. So I will get a better idea so I can able to deliver a quality content for my audience here, right, at the end of the day. So thank you so much for mentioning S's. I can see S, I can see W, right? That's awesome. That's good. So, and you know that today here we are going to spend 2 hours to understand what is this AWS Machine Learning Specialty Certification course and what are the value add that it's going to get for the participants who are going to apply for that particular course. And believe me, like you're going to see live demos on AI on AWS. So most of you peoples might be aware about AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. So stay till end of this webinar so you can able to watch an awesome demos. And not only that, so people who are going to stick till end of this webinar, let's say, so they're going to they can able to download a free ebooks that we're going to provide at end of this webinar, and they can also download a sample questions of AWS Machine Learning Specialty exam. Okay, so let us get started. So finally, one question that I'm going to ask, then we will get started with this session. So how many of you guys are already into data science, machine learning, right? If you are already a data scientist, if you're already working as a data scientist, if you're experimenting, learning data science or machine learning, tell me yes in the chat window. Let me see. Like if you're a beginner, you can just say I'm a beginner or I'm just starting. You can just say a beginner. Otherwise, if you're a working professional, just say, okay, I'm working on ML and AI. So you can just mention, if you're a data scientist, just mention as DS. If you are a beginner, you can just mention it as a B or beginner. That would work actually. And you can also mention that if you're already using AWS machine learning, if you're already experimenting, let's say, I mean, if you're already an AWS guy, you do use a lot of services in AWS, let's say. So just mention AWS. If you're using AWS ML, just mention AWS. Okay. So I can see Drew is mentioning, okay, ML, DL, MLOps, GCP. That's awesome, Drew. That's awesome. So, yeah, Hari is mentioning, okay, I'm not a beginner. That's good. Okay, so let us get started with this session on AWS machine learning specialty. So let us get started. Let me move on. Yep. So first of all, who am I, right? So this is Sarath Kumar from Psitron Technologies. So let me see, make sure if I am visible for you guys. I guess I should be visible somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, so my photo is visible anyway on my screen. So my name is Sarath Kumar. I'm a founder and CEO of a company called Psitron Technologies. And what we do in Psitron Technologies in a first run, right? So we do two stuff. One is obviously corporate trainings. We train people's working professionals, students on machine learning, data science, most specifically on cloud platforms, let's say on AWS, GCP, Azure, kind of a stuff. So more into machine learning, MLOps, cloud certifications like this. So that's a one phase of a company. And another phase, like we work with manufacturing industries. We provide ML AI solutions. We help them to migrate into the cloud. So those are the stuff, right? So more about us later. So let us quickly begin. So what is the highlight for this particular demo? Okay, so what exactly we are focused in this complete demo? Three things, that's it. Three things what we are really interested is what it takes to become a specialist in machine learning. Okay, so I can see that. So a lot of you guys are mentioning, so I'm a beginner, you're working on an ML and AI, you might be intermediate, right? So what it takes to become a specialist, we're going to take a look on that. And why AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification? So in order to like, what happens after you become a, AWS certified machine learning guy, right? What happens that, and what offers that you're going to get, like as part of a job, what kind of an offers, what will be your let's say salary package. We're going to also take a look on those stuff. Okay, so let us begin our session with asking what it takes to become a specialist, right, in a machine learning, right? So let us begin with this particular picture. Okay, we always mention whatever the sessions that we conduct in terms of ML and AI, let's say we used to mention this particular picture. Okay, let us everyone take, I can see there are a lot of beginners here. So let us take a quick like maybe just a 10 seconds, let us try to observe this particular picture. Okay, we'll get back again after 10 seconds. I will ask a couple of questions. Okay, here we go, start observing this picture right now. Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, I hope that's 10 seconds. Okay, let us get started. Okay, let me just ask a few questions. You can try to answer it in a chat window itself. Okay, so what do you think this picture is about? And first of all, what do you see in this particular picture? Try to describe this picture in a chat window. So what do you see in this particular picture, right? So let me pick a marker here so I can able to mark it, right? So what do you see in this picture that I have displayed in your screen, right? You can able to see this looks like a picture of a park, right? That's correct. Subiksha, so mentioning that's dog park, right? Dog park. Mahesh is mentioning it's a park. Someone is Dushantini. Okay, so mentioning park full of people, trees, dogs. That's awesome. That's awesome, guys. Yes, everyone knows this is a picture of a park. This is a scenery of a park. I can see there are a lot of trees. I can see a path where I can walk, and I can see a person, a man, and I can see a woman. I can see a dog which is carrying a ball in his mouth, and even I can see another dog. I mean, there are different breeds of dogs which is available here, right? So that's not exactly the question that I would ask you guys. So my question is very specific. Okay, ask yourself, how do you know this is a picture of a park? How do you know this is a picture of a dog? How do you know that, first of all, right? How do you know that in a first hand this is a picture of a park? How do you recognize that's a dog? Based on what features that you really decide that's a dog, right? How do you decide this is a woman, right? So how do you decide this is a grass, right? So let us go ahead to the another picture. Okay, so let's try to ask the same questions to a newborn baby, right? A newborn baby, like maybe the age of that baby might be less than 1 year old, right? So what do you think this baby knows, right? So what do you think this baby knows? If you're going to display the same picture to this particular baby, can that particular baby recognizes is the picture of a park, that's a dog, that's a man, that's a woman? Can it recognize it? No, not at all. There's no chance, right? A newborn baby, just a let's say less than a year old, could barely recognize his father and obviously his mother. So apart from that, a baby doesn't know anything else, right? Obviously. So what happens when that particular baby grows? Let's say he becomes, let's say, a 5-year-old kid. He might go to a babysitting school, like a primary a school, right, where he will start learning. Obviously, starting from walking, he will start learning from his teachers. He will start learning from his parents how to talk, obviously, right? How to read a books, understanding people's many different things, right? What happens still, like let's say a person grows, he might go to a high school, right? He will start learning different things. He will start learning science, history, blah blah blah, right? So what I'm trying to convey here is nothing but consider this entire uh, the learning pattern what we have here as a growth cycle of a human being, obviously, right? So we exponentially keep on learning each and every day. We become more better, right? Each and every day, if you have a more, if you have learned more better things in a world, you become a much more better person, right? So finally, let's say until like we die, still we start learning, right? And finally we expire, I mean we die, right? That's not a topic for today. But what's really happening, consider ourselves as a machines. Obviously we are a biological machines, we know that. So what happens we consume a data in many different ways. We learn things which makes our life better, right? Starting from your kid to you become a pretty much an old person, right? So each and every day we consume a data in many different patterns, right? We consume a data through visual, through our eyes. We consume a data through our sense, like like maybe by touching, and we consume a data by hearing, and many different things, right? And many different ways we consume a data, isn't it? Obviously, right? So this is nothing but this is what exactly machine learning is all about. This is what exactly what we are trying to do, right? So the way that we have learned the data in many different ways, so in the same way we are trying to teach the same exact data, right? So let's say you have learned a lot of things in your life, and you can able to predict what's going to happen tomorrow, right? You can able to take a decisions accordingly, right? You can take a decision saying that, so because here you guys are here today for only one stuff, because machine learning is everywhere, right? Each and every industry is working on machine learning, right? Wherever you have an access to digital data, there is a problem that could be solved by using a machine learning models. You know that machine learning is a future, and this adds more value for your life. That's why you are here, because you're taking a decision, right? So this is what exactly we are trying to teach to this dumb machines, obviously, right? So this particular machines just understands zeros or ones, right? Apart from that, it doesn't know anything else, right? We use high level programming languages to teach machine learning to it, right? So for example, let us pick an example here, so where it will make more sense for us, right? So let's say I have a CSV file, okay? So let's say I have a CSV file. So what do I have in this CSV file? Let's say I have collected a 3 years of, let's say I'm collecting a 3 years of electricity data of my home, right? It may be your home, it may be your office, doesn't matter. Let's say I'm collecting how much your washing machine in your home consumes electricity, how much your geyser, how much your electrical appliances consumes the data. Let's say I have all this data stored in this particular CSV file, okay? So my goal is very simple, okay? So I want to forecast what will be my electricity consumption in next 6 months, right? So let's say maybe this month you might have got 800 rupees, maybe 1,000 bucks something, but you want to forecast for next 6 months what will be your electricity bill forecast, right? So what happens here, I have some historical data that I have. I'm going to teach this data to this machine. Once this machine understands the data, right, so then I can able to ask this machine to make a forecast saying that for next 6 months what will be my bill for the next first month, second month, 3 month, goes on for the 6 months, right? So I can able to ask my machine to forecast, right, what's going to happen tomorrow. So all I need a data that machine can learn, and it can able to make a forecast. That's it. That's all about machine learning. But in another way, let's say for example, instead of we having a CSV file, right, it's a tabular data. Other than that, let's say I want to train my machine to understand the difference between a cat and a dog, right? Let's say I want to teach my machine a difference between a cat and a dog, right? Let's say I have a cat, let's say I have a dog, right? I have a pictures of dogs and cats. Let's say I teach all these dogs and pictures of a cats to my machine, and let's say I put up a camera in front of my let's say a device, right? So let's say when I have a picture of when I have a real cat, maybe a real dog in front of that particular camera, so then I'm going to ask my machine, so what picture, what object that you see in front of that camera, is that a dog, is that a cat? So I can able to, my machine can able to predict it's a dog, it's a cat accordingly, right? So this is again what we used to call it as a computer vision, right? So machine learning is what exactly is about that. It's nothing but a study of an algorithm, and it may be a mathematical model that your computer system uses progressively improve the performance of a specific task. That's what exactly definition says, right? But in a very simplest form, a machine learning is all about teaching a complex mathematical models to your machine. So once your machine understands the complex mathematical model, it can able to make a futuristic prediction what might happen tomorrow, maybe like a forecasting that I'm talking about, predicting what picture that it can able to see in front of a camera, right? Those stuff. Okay, but here is a question. Let's go to the very serious stuff right now. So what it takes to become a specialist? So what it takes for you to become a specialist, right? So you might be a data scientist right now, you might be a data engineer right now, but what it takes to become a specialist, what are the things that you need to have in your hand to become a specialist? So let's try to understand a typical workflow of building a successful machine learning model in the industry. What are the things, what are the stakeholders that we have? So consider something like this, okay? So what happens in a first phase, right? So machine learning is all about a data, right? We take a data, we teach the data to a machine. Once the machine understands the data, it can able to make a inferences, otherwise what we call it as a predictions, right? So but where it starts from data, right? So let's say we consume a data in many different patterns, right? We consume a data through visual, we consume a data through ears, right? Through sense, a lot of different stuff. But when it comes to a machine learning, a data science, what we are talking about here, a machine consumes a data in many different patterns. It can be a pictures like JPEG, a CSV file, as we talked. It may be a JSON documents. It may be even a text file. It can be at the end of the day. So what happens initially, we start from a data, right? We pick up a use case and we take a data. Initially, once we have a data, then we do something called a data preparation. Okay. So what is exactly data preparation is about? It's nothing but the way your kitchen works in your home, right? What we do in the kitchen, right? So we do a preparation of a food, right? It's exactly similar to that. We take some ingredients, we put some masala, we start preparing a food, right? It's similar to that. But here we do it in a much more different way. What happens when it comes to a data, let's say a real-time data that is coming from an industry, right? Which comes with a lot of garbages in it. I mean, let's say, for example, let me put it in a very simplest form. Let's say, for example, there are more than 130, it's nearing to 150 people who is attending this particular webinar. Let's say after completing this webinar, I'm going to provide a feedback form for you guys. Okay, let's say all you going to are you going to complete that feedback form for us? Let's say based on that data, the data that you provided in a feedback form, let's say I want to create a machine learning model. Okay, so why I am creating a machine learning model? Let's say I want to create a machine learning model to predict how many people who have attended my webinar they're going to register for actual certification course. Let's say I want to do that. Okay, so what happens, my data is nothing but the data that you provided in a feedback form. Okay, but let's say I have asked different questions in that particular feedback form. What happens in a reality? In a reality, you don't fill all those things because you might don't know the answers for few questions. Few participants might forget to fill a particular element in that particular form. So what happens, a real data comes with a lot of missing values. It will be having a lot of garbages. So it's our duty to clean the data in a first hand. So we need to prepare the data. We use different tools to do that, right? So once the data is prepared, we use IDs like, let's say, Jupyter Notebooks, VS Code, something like this, in order to write a code, right? It can be the code that you write in any different languages. It may be a Python, it may be R, it may be JavaScript, any programming language that you prefer. So once you have a code setup ready, so I mean the code that you're going to write for to train a machine with the data, right? So let's say we have a data that is ready and we have a code that is going to help to teach a data to a machine. So then I'm going to pick a machine, right? You need a machine at the end of the day. You need your computer. It may be a cloud server, whatever it is according to you. So let's say once we have pick a machine, then we start training our machine with the data that we have prepared. So once your machine has trained with the data that is prepared, it will output something called a machine learning model. So that's your final end product, obviously. But before that, we're going to test our model. So we need to ensure that the model that we have trained, we need to examine that with testing process in order to check whether it is making a proper predictions or not. So if you are really satisfied with the results, what we're going to do in the next step, so we're going to register that model to something called model registry. So where it will be helpful for us to deploy a model in a real-time production environment, right? So where do we deploy a model in production environment? Usually companies goes with the cloud platforms like AWS, it may be Azure, it may be GCP, something like this, right? So we deploy a model on a production ready environment. So then comes our front end applications, a client applications, for example. This is where your developer is going to create a beautiful web applications, Android applications, where your users can able to interact with your deployed model, right? So this looks so much simple, right? Take a data, prepare it, train it, deploy it, right? That's all it is, right? But that's not actually the cases. But in order to become like a specialist, right? What it takes to become a specialist and what are the stakeholders actually involved in delivering a successful machine learning model to your clients, right? So there are many stakeholders. Let's say, so for example, initially starting from our data, let's say, let's consider where we have over someone called a data engineer, right? So data engineers will be responsible for extracting a data and to prepare it, right? So once the data is prepared, this data will be delivered to someone called a data scientist. Okay, so data scientist is someone who is going to pick up an algorithm. Let's say, for example, I want to train it on top of a TensorFlow. Let's say I want to use regression models, right? So let's say he creates a machine learning model, right? So once the machine learning model is ready, then comes our machine learning engineer, otherwise our MLOps team, otherwise you can consider it as a DevOps team, who is going to deploy that particular model into a production ready environment. So then comes our front end developers who are going to create a beautiful application where it can be interacted with our clients through your web applications, through Android applications. There are many different stakeholders that are involved, right? So there are multiple roles that are available in industry. There is a separate role, there is a separate job called data engineer, there's a separate job called data scientist, MLOps engineer, right? And let's say for someone who is going to do everything and everything together, if a one person does everything, they actually used to call it as a full stack data scientist. So that's how the roles are defined, right? So usually in order to getting started, let's say programming languages, so it depends completely on your requirement. So usually let's say we will be getting started with a Python, because Python is widely used, very easy to use. Most of amount of the workloads runs on Python in the world. And obviously next comes R. Even you can able to use JavaScript, even a C++ and Java is possible right now, right? So these are the stuff. So, and what else is there in order to become a specialist? Let's talk about some prerequisites. What are the basic things that you need to know, like to become a specialist, right? So let's say we talk about something called a statistics and probability, obviously very important things. Understanding about your data in order to make sure your data is clean, doesn't have any outliers, right? We use various techniques like, let's say, mean, mode, median, range. So you might have heard about something called matplotlib, seaborn, that we used to use for data visualization, right? So understanding linear regression, different kind of regression concepts, Bayes theorem, probabilities, right? Many different stuff, right? So then comes a data engineering, right? So what is data engineering? Obviously this is where what we're talking about. So your real-time data comes with a lot of different garbages, so you need to do like a lot of cleaning. For example, we call it as a data cleaning, right? So feature engineering, so cross validations, otherwise where we call it as a k-fold cross validation techniques, just checking what is the bias and variance that you have in your data, those stuff, right? So you need to be aware about data engineering, then you need to be aware about statistics and probability, and then obviously understanding data visualization. So why data is visualization is very important, because here we talk about data. Understanding and visualizing data is very important, and knowing what kind of a tool that you need to use in order to visualize this data, right? So whether you're going to use histograms, whether you're going to use let's say a box and whisker plots, right? So whether you're going to use a line graphs, so what kind of a graph that you can use to for what kind of data, understanding that is very important, obviously, right? So understanding this, is this enough, or is there anything else? Obviously deep learning concepts, right? So deep learning, when the concept says deep learning, you might have seen these pictures in internet which looks like a circles, right? So what is this exactly, right? It's nothing but a biological inspiration. So you know how our human brain works, you know that. So there is something called neurons in our brain. So those neurons carries an electrical signal from one part of a neuron to another part of a neuron. I mean, this carries the information. Let's say you have a neuron here which carries an electrical signal. It transfers this electrical signal to another neuron here, and this neuron transfers that electrical signal to another neuron. So basically, so let's consider something called a cerebral cortex. That's a part in your brain. So basically they are connected through something called axons. There are billions of neurons, they are connected in your brain, they together form as a network, right? So this electrical signals are basically informations that is being carried from one part to another part, right? So this is again a same concept that is being followed in deep learning, actually. So let's consider how our computer vision concepts work. How, let's say for example, a machine trying to understand a difference between a picture of a cat and picture of a dog, right? How those things being really processed. So then we talk something about cortical columns. It's nothing but a specific part in your human eye, right? So we have two eyes, obviously, right? So let's say we talk about something called for example, cortical columns. So basically, as a name represents, it's a column representation. Again, there are different types of mini columns. In each and every mini columns, you will expect 100 neurons. They are together in a stack. They form, let's say, more than 100 million mini columns. It's simply representing something like this. You can able to see those are organized in columns, and they are capable of processing your informations in parallel. Basically, I'm talking about parallel computing. So this is how exactly the GPUs that we have in our PCs, in your servers, actually work, right? So basically how this deep neural networks works in very simplest form. So all you need to do, you need to provide an input here and you'll receive an output over here. That's it. That's as simple as that. Let's say, for example, we are talking about a use case to forecast, right, your electricity bill, right? I input my features over here. Let's say I want to input my voltage and the previous bills, the amount of current that it consumes. So then this informations will be processed inside this particular deep neural network. Then finally I will receive an output, let's say the forecast, right? So here I will receive a forecast saying that what will be my bill for first month, second month, third month, and goes on, obviously. So this is how exactly deep neural networks works. But we might always have a confusion here. I talked about deep learning, and then I'm talking about machine learning, right? Then I talk about artificial intelligence. What is the real matter with AI, ML, and AI and DS, data science, right? So here is a quick understanding. So artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning, what I'm talking about. So basically is nothing but AI. When it comes to artificial intelligence, what we used to call, that's a final end product that you're seeing, right? So what is the best example for AI? We can consider your Amazon Alexa. That's your final end product. Maybe Google Home, it may be a Siri that you're saying. That's a final end product. That's what exactly called as an AI, right? So then what is ML? That is machine learning. So ML is actually a subset of AI, right? So it's a technique to achieve an AI by using ML, basically. So then comes our deep learning. So deep learning again is a subset of a machine learning at the end of the day. So combination of all this together is finally we have an end product that is an artificial intelligence, the AI. So we'll get a more into that one later in the slides. So there are different ML types. Let's say, for example, the game that we are trying to play here is very simple. Take a data, teach the data to this machine, right? But your machine learns the data in many different patterns. That is, one is called supervised learning technique, unsupervised learning technique, and another one is called reinforcement learning technique. So let me put it in very simplest form, okay? So what is exactly supervised learning, right? Supervised learning is nothing but there are two things into the picture here. Let me go with this simple example, okay? Here I have a three different country coins. Okay, here I have an Indian rupee and here UAE rupee coin, and I have a Liberty coin. Okay, so each and every coin has a unique weight. So Indian rupee coin weights, let's say 5 grams, and UAE coin weights 2 grams, and let's say Liberty coin weights 4 grams. Okay, so let's say here the weight of a coin would be called as a feature, and the currency of a coin would be a label, right? Let's say if your machine learning model predicts if the coin is 5 grams, if that is a prediction, then we know that the coin is 1 rupee coin, right? So supervised learning technique is nothing but in your data where you have both feature and a label. So you can able to create a supervised learning model. So then comes unsupervised learning technique. So this is a technique learning with no label data. So you will be having a features, but you don't have a labels. That's it. So let us take a cricket as a good example here. Let's say here we have our two clusters. Let's say we have a bowlers and a batsmen. In x-axis we have wickets, in y-axis we have runs, right? So based on total number of let's say wickets, I can predict who would be that possible bowler is, and similarly based on total number of runs I can able to make a prediction who is that particular batsman that we are talking about. So this is about unsupervised learning technique. So in this one you just don't have labels. Okay, then comes an interesting part. Let's say reinforcement learning, right? The picture's cute, right? Okay, let me just explain what is exactly reinforcement learning here. Let's say reinforcement learning technique learns based on, let's say, rewards and negative feedbacks in a simplest form. Let's say I have a machine that I'm trying to teach my machine the difference between a cats and dogs. Okay, so then once my machine has learned the data, then I'm testing my machine by passing a picture of a cat. Okay, so then my machine makes a wrong prediction saying it's a dog. That's bad. Obviously then I give a negative feedback to my machine saying it's not actually a dog, it's a cat. So then my machine learns from that negative feedback. So the next time when I pass my input. So then it makes a proper prediction saying it's a cat, not a dog, right? So whenever I give a negative feedback, it learns from it. Whenever I give a appreciation, it gets a reward to that particular way. So here we talked about supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning technique, right? By using these three different techniques, you could able to like solve many different problems, right? It may be classification related problems that I'm talking about. It may be a fraud detection, email spam detection, so image classification use cases, regression use cases. So or maybe techniques like text mining, face recognition, big data use cases, again image recognition use cases, right? Anything. Just imagine, let's say in terms of a reinforcement learning technique, they are more into, let's say, manufacturing, gaming, for example, self-driving cars that we are talking about, they are more into that one. So these are the different types, ML types. Then we will move on to the next particular slide. In order to achieve, in order to create such a use cases, let's say in order to solve such a problems, we use different kinds of an algorithms, obviously, right? So for example, it may be a TensorFlow. We will be getting started with ML frameworks that I'm talking about. It may be a Keras that I am talking about, right? It may be a PyTorch that I'm talking about. So here is a graph, the stats from KD Nuggets, so which is actually representing the trend in algorithms in a world. Obviously, we can able to come to a conclusion. So TensorFlow is a very hottest algorithm in the world. It's been solving many different problems, and it's running in many different use cases in many different clouds, obviously. So then comes Keras and PyTorch and many different things. Not just TensorFlow, Keras, PyTorch, or MXNet that I'm talking about. There are wide variety of algorithms, ML frameworks that you can able to use on top of AWS. So let's come to the one final question here. At the end of the day, why AWS machine learning specialty, right? So I have, so the few stuff that we have discussed previously, what it takes to become a machine learning specialist, right? So and let's talk about AWS machine learning specialty to the real specialist game, right? So what happens once you complete AWS machine learning specialty? What adds more advantage to it, right? So first of all, we are aware about the cloud platforms, because there are different cloud platforms that are available. We know about AWS, that is Amazon Web Services. There is GCP, there is Azure, IBM, blah blah blah, other different cloud platforms. So what is a more advantage on top of AWS? Let's try to understand the uniqueness of AWS first of all. Okay, so do you know that the more machine learning actually happens on AWS than anywhere else? So more machine learning is happening on AWS, not more on, let's say, Azure, not more on GCP. Here is a more stats. So if you see, like, AWS is a home for 89% of deep learning projects. Just consider any deep learning framework. It may be TensorFlow, it may be PyTorch, it may be Keras, whatever you name it as top of a deep learning. So 89% of deep learning projects happens on AWS. Let's talk about very famous ML frameworks like TensorFlow. You don't believe 92%, that's huge number, 92% of TensorFlow projects happening in AWS. If you see, TensorFlow is actually maintained by Google. Actually, it is occupied by Google, and even TensorFlow is maintained by Google. The most use cases runs on top of AWS here. Okay, so and then comes our PyTorch. 91% of PyTorch in cloud happens on AWS. So what I'm trying to say here, the more machine learning happens on AWS, that's directly professional to the more opportunities for you, right? So here is the statistics from Statistica. So this is actually the representation of the usage of the cloud platforms, the occupation of a cloud market. You can see, like, AWS occupies almost a 33% of a cloud industry. Then comes Azure and Google Cloud, IBM, and other cloud platforms. So Amazon leads almost like 180 billion in a cloud market. That means more opportunities. That means more companies they use AWS for machine learning. Tens of thousands of customers, like who are companies, they use AWS for machine learning. So what's so special on top? What's so special in this AWS machine learning specialty certification that I'm talking about? So let's try to get a small idea before we talk about the certification. So there are wide varieties of certifications that are available in the market, not just for AWS. Google has wide variety of certifications. Azure has wide varieties of certifications. Here are the list of certifications what AWS offers here. So starting from foundation to associate, professional, and specialist. Okay. So if we are talking about AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification, which comes under a specialist level, an advanced level. Okay, so you can ask me a quick question. Okay, in order to take AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification, do I need to take any other certification programs like maybe Foundation, Professional, Associate? Not necessary. You can able to get started with AWS Machine Learning Specialty. So it is not like branched together. It is a piece to get started with that. Okay, so for example, let's say if you want to become a specialist, what else that you need to learn on top of AWS machine learning specialty. So we talked about the different stakeholders who are involved in delivering a successful machine learning project, right? There is someone called a data engineer, there is someone called data scientist, there is someone called machine learning engineer. Then comes our ops team. I'm talking about DevOps or MLOps team that comes into the picture, right? So let's say, for example, if you're consider you are a data scientist, you can ask me a question. So I'm a data scientist. I know how to pick a model, sorry, how to pick an algorithm and how to train that, right? But let's say if you're telling I don't have a much knowledge on data engineering, will it work? No, it won't work like that. So let's say here, to deliver a successful machine learning model, it's a collaboration between a multiple teams here. Otherwise, if you are a full stack, if you want to become a full stack machine learning engineer, the full stack data scientist, you need to know all this stuff, right? So let's say, so data engineering in AWS, what exactly industry uses as top of data engineering in AWS? Let's say starting from AWS S3, which is actually a storage platform. This acts as a data repository where you keep all your data in S3 bucket. Starting from AWS Glue for your ETL services. Let's say, what do you mean by ETL? Let's say you are a data engineer, you're getting a data from your client as a CSV files, okay? But you want to deliver this prepared data to your data scientist, but your data scientist is requesting a data as a JSON format. You need to do transformation here. You need to use ETL tools like AWS Glue in order to transform your data from CSV files to JSON data. That's a one simple example. There are more things that you can able to do. Let's say you want to work on a streaming data. Let's say you're working on use cases like IoT services. Let's say your data is streaming. You can get started with AWS Kinesis, which is a streaming service. Then we have Amazon Athena. So you might use different databases, migration services. Let's say you have a data in your on-premises, but you want to get it to the cloud. So more things to learn, different databases that you need to learn in order to get started with data engineering. So AWS Lambda, like serverless services, container services, very importantly, like elastic container registries, elastic cache, and more. There are different tools that you will be learning as part of AWS data engineering. Then comes data analysis AWS. Obviously, being a data engineer is not enough. You need to also learn about data analysis. There's a wide varieties of tools again comes into the picture. Like for example, AWS QuickSight, right? Just imagine, in case if you are coming from a data analysis background, you might heard about Tableau, such kind of a tools. Here we have something called AWS QuickSight. It's similar to that. All you need to do is you have a data that you want to generate some insights for your business. All you need to do is just come and upload your data to QuickSight, so it can able to take care of rest of other things. So it's similar to that. So then we have again ECR, Apache Spark, Hadoop systems. Obviously, as part of AWS machine learning specialty, we have Hadoop systems, what we used to call it as Elastic Map Reduce, EMR, on top of AWS, which is as part of a data analysis here. So it may be services like management and governance services like AWS CloudWatch, AWS CloudTrail for monitoring part of your data, and more like IoT services as part of AWS data analysis like AWS IoT Greengrass, such other services. Okay, so once we are done with data analysis, and here comes our actual part. Here comes our the actual recipe, right? The AWS ML stack. This is a very interesting part. Okay, so stay till end of this webinar. So once after talking about AWS ML stack, we're going to get started with an actual real-time demo. You're going to enjoy it, and stay till end of this webinar so you can able to download a free ebooks, and you can also download a sample questions. Okay, stay till end of this webinar. So this is an interesting part. Let's get started. So when it comes to AWS ML stack, so we can able to categorize into three things over here: AI services, ML services, and frameworks and infrastructures. Okay, so what is exactly AI services here? As I mentioned already, what is exactly AI? So AI is a final end product, isn't it right? AI is nothing but a final end product, right? So AI services here in AWS are ready to use services, ready to market services otherwise. So what do you mean by that? Let's say, for example, as part of a AI services, you don't create any machine learning model from a scratch, but model is something that is built by someone already. All you need to do is utilize that AI services to add a value to your customers. So for example, here we have something called Amazon Health Lake that is into medical industries. Let's say you have a lot of medical records, like let's say medical insurances, policies that you want to analyze. You can able to use something called Amazon Health Lake. So then we have Amazon Transcribe, then we have Amazon Comprehend. So here we have Amazon Panorama applications, Amazon Monitron. Let's say this is much into industries. Like for example, let's say you are into manufacturing industries. You want to analyze quality of products that is being manufactured. Otherwise, let's say you want to work on a predictive maintenance. Let's say there is a motor. You want to collect a lot of sensor data from that particular motor, and you want to predict whether this motor is going to fail in next 30 days or not. So such kind of a stuff. Let's say anomaly detection. So Amazon look out for metrics to predict an anomaly on particular data that you have. So if you are a developer, so you have tools for AI, and let's say you have a code that you're writing, but you want to ensure your code that you're writing is proper or not. You can use something called Amazon DevOps Guru as part of DevOps tools, and Code Guru for the code that you're writing. So more interesting stuff. Let's talk about computer vision. Let's say, for example, you want to work on anything as top of images and videos. Let's say you want to create a face recognition application, object and scene detection, celebrity recognition, for example, that you want to work on. Or let's say you want to work on a real-time video streaming. Let's say you can able to use Amazon recognition. You don't want to create a model from a scratch. All you need to do is use it and build whatever you want. Otherwise, let's say you want to work on, let's say, text to speech conversion services. Let's say you have a text that you want to convert into speech. You can use something called Poly and more. I'm going to provide demo on recognition and Poly. Stay till end of this webinar. So then we have something called a text track, which is a document processing services. Then we have a search based services, and we have your chatbot services. Let's say you want to create a customized chatbot, right? So let's say anything. Let's say you want to build a customized chatbot, deploy it on top of your Facebook, maybe on your website, blog. A complete chatbot can be created by Amazon Lex and more. So here we have personalized services, forecasting, right? So just imagine, without writing any line of a code, you could able to create a forecasting for the same use case that we discussed. Let's say you bring that CSV file of your electricity consumption, upload the data to Amazon Forecast, so you can generate your forecast for the next 6 months over here. So then we have a fraud detection use cases for online transaction fraud, credit card fraud related use cases. Then we have Amazon Contact Lens that is related to, let's say, customer service services. So this is about AI services. And here comes the most important stuff, that is machine learning services, that is ML services. So machine learning service, what we are talking about here is nothing but Amazon SageMaker. So Amazon SageMaker is the service that you could able to use to build end-to-end machine learning products over here. So you just imagine, you can build all this AI services on this top by using Amazon SageMaker itself. So Amazon SageMaker comes with the SageMaker Studio IDE, where everything is integrated into one single IDE itself. Just imagine, let's say, starting from your data preparation, from data engineering stuff, start talking about a feature store, right? As part of features that you want to store it in your feature stores, right? So AutoML, Spark integration, right? Visualization and notebooks. You can pick any algorithm that you want. Just imagine Amazon itself. Amazon has more than 16 plus inbuilt algorithms. Their own Amazon proprietary algorithms. Not only that, apart from that, you can bring in ML frameworks like TensorFlow, Apache, MXNet, you name it. You can train a model, tune a model, and more, and integrate a complete CI/CD. I'm talking about the complete MLOps pipeline could be built on top of Amazon SageMaker Studio. So as I'm talking about the frameworks, Amazon not only supports inbuilt algorithm, you can bring ML frameworks like TensorFlow, MXNet, PyTorch, Gluon, scikit-learning, and more. And you don't believe Amazon has got all high level GPUs and CPUs that you could use for your production jobs, for your training, for your hosting, and more. So they have something called elastic inferences, their own hardwares specific to deployment process, right? So what is exactly Amazon SageMaker, the most powerful tool that we are talking about, right? So before we talk about Amazon SageMaker, let's talk about the traditional challenges in building an ML model, okay? The traditional challenges that we usually have, right? So these are the usual challenges that you face, right? So labeling a data is the biggest headache. Collecting and preparing a data is again a difficult process. Each and every time you need to run your Jupyter notebooks probably to prepare your data each and every time if you don't have that robust pipeline, right? So building a feature store without having such a robust IDE is going to be impossible nightmare, right? So checking for biases, visualization in your notebooks, picking a right algorithm to solve your business use case, training a model, tuning a parameters, hyperparameters, deploying a model to a production environment. After deployment, obviously the job actually starts after a deployment, right? So I'm talking about monitoring your model in a production and bringing everything in a CI/CD pipeline, right? These are the usual headaches that we usually have. So this could be solved by Amazon SageMaker. Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed machine learning service. That means you don't maintain any servers there. So it is built for data scientists like us, developers like us, where they want to build, train, and deploy their machine learning models in a production ready environment. So, and things could be taken care, like maybe CI/CD pipeline integration, your feature store, labeling, picking up a right algorithm, and even auto scaling could be taken care by Amazon SageMaker. So all these problems, starting from labeling a data, feature store, picking up an algorithm, having a robust CI/CD pipeline could be taken care by Amazon SageMaker itself, right? So this is how the Amazon SageMaker Studio IDE will look, but I will show you it in a real demo. So stay till end of this webinar so you can able to enjoy actual demo over there. So Amazon SageMaker supports this particular, the entire workflow that we are talking about, the same workflow that I showed you guys before the session, if you remember, right? So where do we start? Obviously we start from fetching a data. So once we have a data, then we do cleaning, then we do data preparations. Once the data is prepared, so then our model training process will kick in. And once your model is ready, finally we evaluate your model. I mean, we will make sure your model is making a valid predictions. And if you're happy with the results, finally we deploy a model to a production ready environment. So once your model is deployed, this is where your front end users, I mean your users, basically going to come and generate inferences. I'm talking about predictions, right? And then still this pipeline would be integrated for model monitoring, and you will be keep on monitoring the data that has been inputted from your users, right? And further you will keep this data again to retrain your model in a future, right? So when we talk about Amazon SageMaker, it serves various different industries. So Amazon SageMaker, not just for one single industry, starting from, let's say, manufacturing, when it comes to predictive maintenance, right? In IoT use cases, demand forecasting like retail, customer goods, manufacturing, fraud detection use cases in online transactional frauds, in banking systems that I'm talking about, credit risk predictions in financial services, extracting and analyzing a data for your documents. I'm talking about healthcare, legal documents, education systems, right? It may be a computer vision, autonomous driving, personalized recommendation, churn predictions, and more. You name it, whatever you want, right? So you can see the one good example like Amazon machine learning in a scale. Amazon itself an example for machine learning, right? So 4,000 products per minute processed in Amazon.com, more than 1.6 million packages every day, billions of Amazon Alexa interactions every day, right? And again, it's live. Amazon Prime A delivery, they started beyond 2016 itself. Now it is live. Even in India, we are trying it, right? Obviously. So when it comes to Amazon SageMaker, you can able to pick anything, any algorithm that you want, and you can create wonders out of it. So Amazon has more than 16 plus inbuilt algorithms, let's say for classification, when it comes to linear learner algorithm, XGBoost, K-means. Let's say you want to work on a text, for example, NLP related use cases like blazing text algorithm that you can able to pick. So regression related use cases, we have linear learner again, XGBoost. When it comes to computer vision, they have image classification algorithm, object detection, semantic segmentation, and more. So not only that, so recommendation algorithms, anomaly detection related algorithms, sequence translation algorithms, topic modeling algorithms, forecasting algorithms, clustering algorithms. Obviously we have k-means. Then we have a feature reduction algorithms like objective vec and PCA, right? Those are very hottest algorithms that you could able to use. Obviously, at the end of the day, apart from inbuilt algorithm, you can bring in any ML frameworks on top of it to get started with maybe a TensorFlow, PyTorch, or MXNet that we are talking about. Okay, so saying this, so this is what exactly it takes for you to become a specialist. Let's say, for example, you are an existing data scientist. Let's say for an existing data engineer. Okay, so what happens? What it takes? I mean, so what happens if you complete AWS machine learning specialty? So what is a plus? What is a plus that you're going to add to your resume? Let's talk about the job opportunities. Okay, how it looks when it comes to AWS machine learning. Okay, so do you know that what is an average salary of a data scientist today in India? It starts from 18 lakhs per annum. That's the average salary of a data scientist today in India, right? That's really amazing, right? It's a mind blowing. So let me just tell you, there are a lot of beginners here. The average salary of a junior data scientist start from 9 lakhs per annum. Okay, so what it takes to attain this particular average salary, what it takes for you to attain this average salary, just believe it. So this is how actually the ML job trends looks like. The trend started picking up from 2009, and trend actually keep on shooting up. It's not falling down at all. But let's say if you're an existing data scientist, existing data engineer, but you don't have a skill set on ML, AWS ML, right? Obviously, it's definitely going to add a it definitely is going to add a plus to your resume, because as the number says, let's say the more machine learning is happens on AWS today, any company who is going to get started with a cloud platform, they definitely going to had this definitely going to have the list of skill sets they would be looking forward as part of ML jobs, right? Today, if you Google it, there are multiple jobs that is available for you, that is readily available for you to get started, right? So just Google it, jobs in Mumbai. So there's a jobs, and you can able to see an average salary 15 to 24 lakhs per annum, right? This is an I'm talking about an average data salary for a data scientist. The numbers proves it. This is the numbers that you can able to just search in Google. The Google proves it. This is the numbers directly coming from Glassdoor, Indeed. You can able to just go and validate it very immediately, right? So search for jobs in UK. The jobs are right away in your next street today, right? So jobs in United States, there are more than 11,000 plus jobs available in just in India. This is what exactly the LinkedIn says actually, right? So this is a quick job analysis validation that we can able to make. So these are the skill sets, let's say what we will be covering in this particular course, and this is what exactly the recruiters would look forward in your resumes, right? Let's say it may be AWS Glue that we're talking about, creating a data pipelines, EMRs, the Elastic MapReduce that we talked about, right? So it may be Hadoop tools that we talked about, right? It may be the algorithms that we're going to cover, like RNNs, ResNet 50, right? So it may be Amazon Kinesis, what we named for real-time streaming services. It may be recognition services, Amazon SageMaker services that we're talking about. So this is what exactly the industry is looking forward, right? This is the hottest certification program that is available in the internet. So saying that, why don't we go forward and to, let's say, to an internet, let's have a live demo, let's try to enjoy. So what's really AI services in AWS, let's see how it works. Okay, so here we go. It's time to have a demo. Stay till end of this webinar to enjoy all these demos that I'm going to provide. So here is the AWS console. Okay, so once you register for this particular certification program, we will help you to create in this account. No worries on top of it. So this is an AWS management console. So from here, you could able to access machine learning services. So if I go to machine learning, let's go ahead and we will check out our first demo on our first AI service, that is Amazon Recognition. Okay, so here we go. Let's get started. So what is Amazon Recognition, right? So as a name represents, Amazon Recognition is a platform for computer vision, anything that you want to do on top of images and videos. So go ahead. Let me just provide a quick demo, right? Here we go. So here is our first demo on label detection. Okay, as I mentioned, it's an AI service. So what is exactly a label detection? It could predict all the possible objects and labels from that particular picture, right? So here is a picture of a person, a random person just skating in a road here, right? So you can see a machine has already made up predictions here, okay? And let's say if I move my cursor towards that particular person, you can see it predicts it's a person. It predicts it's a person. Isn't it amazing? Let's say if I move my cursor near to that particular skateboard, it predicts actually it's a skateboard, right? Right. So let's say if I move my cursor near to that particular cars, you can see it predicts it's a car, right? Even it could able to predict it's a wheel, right? So, and you can see this possible results towards my right side. And if I hit show more, I will see all the possible labels that machine has given for us, and with accuracy. So it says in this particular picture, I have a picture of a car which says 98.8 percentage, automobile, vehicle, transportation. All these things represents a vehicles, obviously. And you can see the confidence score is 98.8 percentage. A machine is sure there is a picture of a car in that particular picture. And there is a person, 98.3 percentage, human, pedestrian. Check it out. There's a skateboard. It says there's a skateboard, right? So sports, road, wheel, path, downtown. You can see this particular algorithm, Amazon recognition, not just predicts the labels, it could also describe a sceneries. So it says, looks like a downtown, looks like a city, looks like a urban, right? So let me just quickly upload a picture from my laptop. So then that's going to be actual fun, right? Instead of having a default picture. So let me quickly upload a picture from my laptop. So it would be more fun for us to explore with real data that is coming from my PC. So give me a sec. Let me just pick the picture. And here we go. So here is the actual picture with a lot of information. You can see this is a workstation, and you can see there's a lot of objects in that particular workstation that you can able to see, right? So you can see uh, if I move my cursor, it predicts there is a monitor and a computer keypad, again computer keypad, laptop. That's okay, but you can see the possible labels towards the right side. It says there is a furniture. Do you think there is a furniture in that picture? Yes, we have a furniture. So there is a table, computer keypad, hardware, keyboard, computer hardware, electronics. You can see a lot of electronics. There are a lot of electronic boards sitting in that particular table over there, right? Desk, laptop, PC, monitor. Isn't it awesome, right? This is what exactly Amazon recognition is being used for. So you don't know, like Amazon recognition is actually used by a lot of different companies, a lot of different industries. You don't believe even US government is actually using Amazon recognition. Tell me yes if you are from US. If you are from US, just type me US in chat window if you're from US. In case if you are from US, you're actually part of Amazon recognition. I will tell you why. So, so US government is using Amazon recognition. For example, let's consider movies, for example. Let's say when we watch action movies, it may be Hollywood, Bollywood, any kind of a movie it is. Let's say let's just consider there is a terrorist who is roaming in a city in a different shape. Okay. So let's say in that particular action movies, you will see they will run a face recognition, I mean the face comparison analysis to check if that particular terrorist in a different shape, right, in the industry, right? So for that similar use cases, US government is using Amazon recognition. You can check more details about that. So let's go ahead to the next use case, that is facial analysis. So here comes the facial analysis use case. Here is a picture of a beautiful woman. She is driving a car. So this particular use case is just analyzing a face. That's it. So you can see there is a bounding box on that particular face. And let's say if I hit show mode, this is the fun part here. You can see it says looks like a face, 99.9 percentage, appears to be female, 99.9 percentage. Check out the age range, guys. This is so fun. So age range 25 to 35 years old. Isn't it awesome? So you upload your own photo and you can check it what would be your possible age, right? So not smiling, appears to be happy, 70 percentage, makes sense. Wearing glasses, eyes are open, mouth is open. So eyes are open. How does a machine know the eyes are open? Because she is wearing a sunglasses, right? Considering a situation, we can come to the conclusion she's driving, she should probably open her eyes. So does not have a mustache? Yes. Does not have a beard? Yes, that's true. Okay, let me toggle this picture. There's another picture that I could that is defaultly provided by Amazon. Here we have a three faces. I can toggle between any of these faces. If I select the picture of that particular kid, and here we go. It says looks like a face, appears to be female. That's good, awesome. Check out the age range here. Okay, age range 6 to 14 years old, right? Isn't it awesome? So the machine accurately predicts what's the possible age of that particular kid, right? So this is about facial analysis. Then we will go for a celebrity recognition, right? So Jack asked a question, what's happening? The real machine learning is happening here. So this is a computer vision platform, Jack, at the end of the day. So here you can see it's a celebrity recognition. Here you know the person, right? The Jeff Bezos, right? The ex-CEO of an Amazon. So now he is doing a lot of stuff with his rocket company. You can see the celebrity is being recognized, and if I hit more, I can read more about that particular celebrity, right? So let me quickly upload a simple picture from my laptop. So then we can see what's happening, right? So I'm going to upload, obviously, you know, the honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji. So it recognized he's a celebrity, and if I hit more, it will probably go to Wikidata, so I can read more about that person, right? So then we will go for the next demo, that is a face comparison. This is an awesome, you don't believe, this is the exact use case that I'm talking about, guys. So this is about the face comparison. So you can see we have a reference face, then we have a comparison phase. Okay, so with the reference phase, we are finding if there is a person in that comparison phase at the end of the day. So obviously the kid, the girl in this reference phase is actually there in a comparison phase, and we know that results towards right side, it says similarity 99.9 percentage. That's awesome. And we know that unsimilar phases also here, right? I could toggle the phases, still my machine can able to predict the similar phase whether it is detected or not, right? That's what exactly you can able to see, right? So this is about face comparison. Then goes with text in image. This is again a very interesting use case. So text in image, as a name represents, this particular algorithm could able to extract a text in that particular picture. Okay, so here you can see the number plate has been extracted. If I click it, you can able to see it is appearing towards my right side. Okay, so it may be your own handwriting that you have. You want to extract it into digital text, you could able to use text in image use cases. So it could be used for many different, you could able to come up with your own unique products. Let's say if you want to automate your traffic light system in your city. Let's say if a particular car is not stopping in a particular traffic light, I mean in a red light, you could able to capture a photo, you could able to extract a number plate, and you could able to automatically find that particular person by using a number plate itself, right? So it can be that. So it can be anything. Let's say if you're a college person, I mean if you're a student, if you're coming from a college, if you have a professor is really fast in writing a notes on a board, but you don't get enough time to take a notes, all you need to do, take a snap, upload it to Amazon recognition, you have your digital notes. Isn't it fun, right? So you can build awesome things like that. So this is about Amazon recognition. So let us go ahead to the next demo, and then we will talk more about this particular course. So then I will be showing a demo on the next AI service, that is Amazon Poly. Amazon Poly, what is Amazon Poly anyway? So Amazon Poly is nothing but it's a service where it could able to convert your text to speech, right? That's all it can do. So here you can see this Amazon Poly console, and here I can able to pick two algorithms. One is neural and standard. So neural looks more like a natural feel. So here I could able to pick a language. So let's say I pick English India. So I have only one voice, that is Kajal. So let me hit listen. Let's see what we can listen from it.
Hello, my name is Kajal. I can read any text you type here.
Okay, isn't it really awesome, guys? This looks more natural. Does it sounds like a robotic voice? Not at all, right? So this is what exactly Amazon Poly does. Amazon Poly could able to convert your text to speech. So you could able to use Amazon Poly, you can able to come up with your own unique product. Let's imagine just you can able to create platforms like Amazon Audible. You know Audible, where you can able to read to a digital books, right? You can listen to the digital books. You can able to come up with such unique platforms with Amazon Poly. So stay connected till end of this webinar, so you can able to watch a few more demos like chatbots that I'm talking about. So document processing service that I'm talking about, and to download a free ebooks. So now we'll go back to our slides. We'll talk about this actual course. Okay, so before we actually getting started, you know that the amount of time, I mean the amount of speed that we are going throughout in our journey of transformation, right? Just imagine what happened last 10 years ago, right? So in 10 years, the cameraman and a pilot been completely replaced with the drones, isn't it? Obviously. So now there are no cameramans, the reporters who are going in a chopper to shoot movies, that is completely taken over in just 10 years by these drones. This exact transformation is actually happening right now. So every industry is working on ML and AI, and they're using very powerful tools like cloud tools like AWS, Azure, MLOps, because at the end of the day, every cloud deploys their model in the cloud, in the cloud providers like AWS or maybe Azure or Google. So here we go. So this is where the actual dates. So complete course on AWS Machine Learning Specialty starts from November 5th, 2020. So this is the actual dates. This is a 40 hours complete hands-on certification program. So this happens on every weekend. This is the actual schedule. So every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 4 hours per day. Okay, 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. It's our actually actual IST time zone. And let's say if you're joining from different time zones, let's say if you're joining from US, EST time zone is here, and CET. If you're joining from European countries, your CET time zone is over here. Okay, so saying this, let's talk about who is this certification is really for, right? So obviously, so this is a certification for developers. This is a certification for data scientists, someone who want to get started with machine learning as part of a advanced level certification program. See, what is so much unique about this particular certification? Let's say if you're an existing data scientist, okay? So at end of the day, everyone comes to the cloud. That's the point here. That's end of the day, everyone comes to the cloud platform. So you need to be aware about the cloud tools. It may be AWS, it may be Azure, it may be Google Cloud. So the benefits of having this particular certification obviously demonstrates that you have an expertise compared with other peers that you have in your industries. It earns a recognition and visibility because you hold a unique certificate from AWS. And so the more benefit for an employer, a company who is going to hire you, it's a piece of cake for them because you hold a certification, you have a background of AWS, it becomes an easy for. Let's consider there are three people go for a job interview. They say everyone is a data scientist, but so one guy has a AWS machine learning specialty certification, but not others, but they are all three good data scientists. Obviously, the first person who has a certification will be given a priority, no doubt about that one. So it basically reduces the risk for the employers to hire you guys. That's it, as simple as that. So what is the certification curriculum is actually planned, how it is actually planned. So these are the four important domains, the weightage of this particular course. So data engineering, 20%, exploratory data analysis, 24%, modeling, 36%, machine learning implementation operation, 20%. So as I'm talking about, this particular certification program is not just about data science. It's not just about, okay, bring the data, train a model. No, it's about data engineering. It's about data analysis. It's about modeling, and it's about deployment and operations, building up pipelines, all this stuff. So what we will be covering, so will you be in this particular course, we will be covering any real-time projects? Is there any real-time projects, real-time implementations or not? Yes, there's a 5+ real-time hands-on project that we'll be building, one real-time pipeline implementation project that we'll be building. There are more than 30+ hands-on exercises, 5 real-time projects, one real-time pipeline implementation projects. So this is, so totally, let's say 36 plus 20, what we put an average of 40 hours certification program, so 40 hours of hands-on course. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we will talk about, so what is the price structure for this particular course? Okay, so what is exactly the price structure looks? So before we getting started, we will see what is the actual price in a market. Okay, so this is the actual price in a market. This is actual data. You can just Google it and you have a one Google search away. So this is actual price. This is a certification code MLSC01 AWS Machine Learning Specialty. It starts from 3 $199. If you put it in Indian currency, it comes under around obviously 32,000 rupees. So for this course I'm talking about. So, and there are wide varieties of price points awarded from the different academy. So this is in again in pounds, that comes under the more than 30,000 rupees. And let's say what we are offering for this particular course, not 30,000 at all. So we are starting the price from just 15,000 rupees. And here we have three different packages that you can choose. I mean, three different plans that comes with the different advantages. But at the end of the day, it adds the same value for all the people who are going to take this particular certification course. So let me put it in a better way. So either you take a basic plan, or either you take an advanced plan, or either you take an advanced plus plan, doesn't matter. Everyone is going to uh, attend that 40 hours hands-on session, and everyone is going to receive an access to recordings, obviously. So let me pick a marker here. So everyone is going to receive an access to the recordings, and everyone can able to attend an exam preparation session that I'm talking about. Everyone is going to receive a sample questions, and there's a lot of free resources that we would be offering. See, because you need to consider one thing, this course is not just for 40 hours where you come and learn, build something, and you attend exam preparation session. No, because we know that like there are different participants who would be joining this session, which comes from a different background. So you will be a beginner, you will be a data engineer, you will be existing data scientist, but not into the cloud platform. So you might need a different, you might come with a different requirements at the end of the day. So we will be giving a what to say the counseling for different participants here to satisfy their requirements. Let's say you want to do resume preparation. Let's say, for example, you need a let's say regular job updates on different industries. So those things, you can attend a lot of webinars that you're going to conduct along with that. So community support, this is comes the very important way. So community support is nothing but, let's say once after completing the course, still you could able to ask a lot of questions in our community. People could answer, I could able to answer for you. So this is the things comes with the basic plan. But when it comes to advanced plans, so there's some more offerings for you. So you can also take, as part of a basic plan, you can able to take one a practice exam. So this is an exam, that practice test that we are conducting, where it will help you to clear AWS Machine Learning Specialty exam at the end of the day. So when it comes to advanced plan, along with everything that is offered in basic plan, so you will be getting an extra practice test. So you have a practice test 1, along with that you have a practice test 2, right? And apart from that, you get a 6 months a job support. That's a very important thing. So 6-month job support, what is exactly a job support? So you might be new to AWS, you might be new for the particular project, right, that you will be working on a client. Obviously we will not code for you, we will not make a project for you, because you will be having your own NDAs. So we'll be supporting you, let's say, to reach out the right documentation, the right tool that you need to use, the right samples that you need to use, those kind of a support. So for the 6 months, a premium support that will be offered. So when it comes to advanced plus, everything that you have in basic plus advanced, you'll be having in advanced plus. So you will be having both practice, you can take both practice test 1 and practice test 2, and instead of 6 months, you'll be getting a 1-year job support. And you can able to get a one more offer, that is, you can take this entire course again. I mean, one free retake of live session. Let's say if you're registering for batch 8, we are doing a batch 8 for this particular year. If you register for batch 8, you could also take a batch 9 for completely free. So the course actually starts from a very lowest price, that is just for 15,000 rupees. So if you want to check out this price in USD, so this is actually the price looks. So I will be opening up a session for Q&A. We will discuss a lot, maybe about this course and maybe about AWS. So this is how the price in USD will looks like. Our basic starting fee start from just $209.99. So our advanced 259, and advanced plus just 309. So again, the same offerings that you get. And this is about the price, but it won't be fun without having some offers, isn't it, right? So here comes offers for all the participants who are attending this webinar. So let's say in this particular week, if you register, just in this week, before 16th, if you register for a basic plan, you can able to get a free upgrade to advanced plan. Not advanced plus, it is advanced plan. So just by registering for basic plan, you will get a free upgrade to advanced plan. But so this registration, obviously we need to have some deadlines for that, right? Obviously that deadline is going to be till 16th. So before 16th, if you register for basic plan, you can take a free upgrade for advanced plan, right? So this is all about the pricing, and why you say, okay, Psitron Technologies, the company, is a good platform for getting started with AWS Machine Learning Specialty. So we are not doing it for a first time. We are doing it for a batch 7 for this year. And again, so we are a company supported by Department of Science and Technology. We are incubated in PhD Step Coimbatore, and being we funded by NIDI EIR, again, that's supported by Department of Science and Technology, and a couple of awards that we offered. So I mean, we are into AWS Activate program. So we've been cracked many different competitions, international level competitions, and we have received a best startup award in 2018. And here comes obviously what you need, the students' feedback, right? So what exactly our student feels. Does our students cleared AWS ML certifications or not? Yes, they did. So they have cleared AWS ML certifications once after completing our course, after taking a practice exam here, right? And this is what exactly our participants feel after completing our other courses like MLOps, the master classes that we have conducted, and other things. Just check out the review. Yes, obviously you will feel what exactly they are talking about. So so what exactly our participants who completed our AWS ML specialty exam, they feel after completing this, right? So you can check out all this detail. So yep, saying that, now we will go ahead to another demo. Then I will open up a session for Q&A. So you can ask me all the questions that you have, obviously. Okay. So let's go ahead and we'll watch another demo. Then we will come back. So we'll go to machine learning services again. Then we will go for Textract. Okay. So now let us have a demo on Amazon Textract, right? So stay till end of the webinar because I haven't shared the details of where you can able to download a curriculum, right? We will discuss about the curriculum after this demo, and the links for downloading a free ebooks, all those stuff. Okay, just a few minutes ad, just stay till end of this webinar. Okay, so okay, now we will talk about the interesting part, Amazon Textract. So as a name represents, it can process your documents at the end of the day. What do you mean by processing a document? Let's say you have a PDF as a document. Let's say you have a scanned documents, right? Let's say you want to extract a handwriting. Let's say you want to extract a text or a form from it, right? So Amazon Textract is a blessed AI service. So here you can able to see there is a sample document that is uploaded by Amazon itself. It's basically a vaccination card. Just consider a COVID vaccination card. Okay. So you can see this particular vaccination card as a table, right? Here we have a table which represents dose, first dose, second dose, booster shots, and the particular day and the lot numbers. And we have a form on the top, the name of a person, date of birth of that person. Okay. So this particular document, which is a physical document, which is scanned, let's say, which has been completely extracted towards your right side. You can see there's a raw text. You can see we have the entire text being extracted from that particular document. We have a sample vaccination report card. Here we have a date of birth, right? And other details. Let's go ahead to the forms. You can see the same form towards left side. You have it on the right side, last name, first name, right? Date of birth. If I go to table, you will see this entire vaccination table being extracted towards the right side. You have first dose, second dose, booster shots, and others. Isn't it awesome? So Amazon Textract, this is what exactly Amazon Textract is. So now we will discuss about the curriculum for this particular course, what exactly the curriculum looks like. You can also download a curriculum. I will share it in the meantime. So Amazon Textract is over. This is the demo on Amazon Textract. So you can able to use Amazon Textract, as I mentioned, for any kind of documents that you need to process. It may be a PDF. It may be the physical scanned document that you have. Amazon Textract could process it. So every AI services offers SDK that you could able to use to build your own application on top of it. Okay, now let us discuss the actual curriculum that we are offering for this entire AWS machine learning specialty. So here comes the one difference. This is a very important part. So this entire course that we are offering, that is AWS machine learning specialty certification, It is not just focused on clearing an exam. It's not at all. So the syllabus, the curriculum, what AWS suggested, we have added a more syllabus than that. So this is a perfect course to to get started for beginners also, because AWS Machine Learning Specialty Certification course never includes the basics as part of it, but we are actually going to get started with the basics, and as part of it, it doesn't require, let's say, an advanced concepts like MLOps, building a pipelines, all this stuff, but we did included MLOps concepts also in this particular course. So we have included more curriculum. Let's have a discussion on that. So I will share this PDF in a chat window in a few minutes, so you can able to download that. So what is exactly we're going to cover as part of AWS Machine Learning Specialty? So we have included every information what I've displayed in that slide in this PDF itself. Okay, let's get started. The course curriculum. So we'll be actually getting started from refreshing a basics. Our first 2-day session will be focused on refreshing a basics only. So this is where we'll be getting started with Python basics, start talking about Python basics, like libraries like pandas. So we'll be doing an hands-on, not just a theory, because it's completely focused on hands-on. And obviously statistics and probabilities. We're going to cover almost many topics, mandate topics as part of statistics and probabilities, like data types, mean, mode, median, that is density functions, probability density functions, talking about standard deviation, variance, using different visualization tools like Matplotlib and Seaborn, those stuff, talking about linear regression, doing some hands-on on top of it. And then comes data engineering basics. So here comes all the topics related to data engineering, talking about bias, variance, data cleaning, normalization, validation techniques like k-forecast validation techniques, oversampling techniques, undersampling techniques, handling your outliers when you have outliers in your data, those things. So once we are done with a basic session for first 2 days, then only we'll be actually starting with the certification course. So data engineering in AWS, this is where our actual certification course starts. So this is where we're going to learn a lot on top of AWS. Let's say starting from AWS S3, talking about the right practices, about the securities, AWS S3 security and other things, and talking about Glue, AWS Glue for your ETL services, data streaming services like Kinesis for data analysis, for data stream, for video analysis, for ML summary. It's talking about Athena, talking about different databases, the stores that you can able to use for machine learning use cases. So data pipelines, batch, step function, talking about different container services, serverless services in AWS and more. Then comes data analysis in AWS. Here we talk about data analysis tools, preparing a data on your Jupyter notebooks, time series, trends and seasonalities, using Athena, using QuickSight. We did discuss about QuickSight, right? So talking about Hadoop tools on top of AWS, I'm talking about Elastic MapReduce, Apache Spark on AWS, hands-on on EMR notebook security and instance types. So once we are done with that, this is where we're going to talk about modeling in AWS. So this is where we talk about deep learning concepts, talking about deep learning, activation function, different kinds of deep neural networks like CNNs, RNNs, using AWS tools to get started with deep learning projects. Talking about many different concepts like regularization techniques, GRIF and gradients, L1, L2 regularization techniques, confusion matrix, different metrics that you could able to use to validate your model, precision recall, F1 and more. Then comes AI services, right? So you can see today in today's demo, we are just exploring a very few AI services, right? But in this entire course, we're going to explore all these AI services, all complete AI services what AWS offers. So, and we're going to also do a specific hands-on on all these AI services. And then comes very important part. This is where we're going to spend most of our time in our course, that is machine learning in Amazon SageMaker. So this is the very important part. So getting started with creating a SageMaker pipelines, creating a notebook, using Amazon S3 along with SageMaker, because our data will stay in Amazon S3, bringing the data, creating a model, deploying it, right? And not only we're going to talk about one algorithm in AWS, we're going to talk about all the built-in algorithms in detail. We're going to talk about in detail about every built-in algorithms, and we're going to pick a specific algorithm and we're going to do a real-time project on top of it. So linear learner, objective vec, you name it. So all the inbuilt algorithms. Then comes model monitoring and tuning. So once after deploying your model and before deploying your model, hyperparameter tuning techniques, modeling your model in a production. So model deployment process. I mean, so you want to deploy a model to a real-time production endpoint where you can able to create a client applications at the end of the day, where your developers are going to do that, right? So using different tools like elastic inferences, using automatic scaling in order to scale your model deployment process when it is in production. And we're going to talk about all the ML frameworks. So getting started with, let's say, Apache Spark, TensorFlow, Apache MXNet, Scikit-learn, PyTorch. We're going to build a real-time project based on TensorFlow, a ground truth, and then comes obviously MLOps. So machine learning operations is not part of this particular course, but we did included it. So we're going to talk about MLOps and motivation of MLOps, challenges, comparisons of what DevOps tools, existing DevOps tools that you could able to use as part of MLOps, and building end-to-end projects on top of Amazon SageMaker pipelines. So, and once we are done with that, the final topic, that is monitoring and watching. This is where we talk about how do we monitor your model training process, hyperparameter tuning process after deployment of your model, how we could able to monitor that, right? So this is what exactly what we will be offering in this particular course. There's some more to learn, obviously, right? What we are providing here. So you can able to check out the pricing details in the same PDF itself. I will share it in the meantime. So yeah, you will see all other details, customer, so our participants' feedbacks, all those stuff over here, right? Yeah. So this is about the curriculum that we are offering. So I will share a download links right now for that. So once I share the download links, then we will go ahead for the next demo. So here we go. Okay, so I have shared a few links in the chat window. The first link is for the registration page. If you click on the first link, it will go to the registration page. So we will be hosting our registration platform on a TownScript. You can able to register through TownScript itself. If you go to this page, you can hit book now, and you will be having the different plans that you could able to pick. So if you're an international participant, you can pick international participant for basic, advanced, and advanced plus. If you're if you're from India, you can pick basic, advanced, and advanced plus over here. Okay, so you can check more information. And the second link is for downloading the course curriculum. If you click on second link, so you will download this particular PDF that I am just displaying on my screen. And the third link, as I mentioned, is for downloading a free ebooks. Okay, so free ebooks could be downloaded from a third link, and I have attached my phone number and two phone numbers, obviously, and contact email address if you want to contact me. So saying this, so you will be receiving a sample questions through your email, because we'll be sharing our recordings of this particular webinar through email. So you will receive a sample questions through email. Okay, saying this, we'll have one final demo, and then we will go for a quick Q&A. Okay. So now we will go ahead for one final demo, then we will open a session for a Q&A. So now we are going to have a demo on Amazon Lex, which is a chatbot service. So you know that chatbots are everywhere, right? So if you go to, let's say, any e-commerce website, right? It may be Amazon, it may be Flipkart, or any website that you go, right? So right now, most probably there is no human being sitting next to your screen and chatting with you. There is a chatbot actually, which is doing the job. So it's a chatbot which is actually chatting with you, right? So by using Amazon Lex, you could able to create a customized chatbot for any use cases that you're thinking about. And this chatbot could be deployed on, let's say, on your Facebook Messenger, on your website, blogs, you name it. So what it takes to build a chatbot anyway, right? So in order to build any chatbot, first you need to do a groundwork. Okay, let's say, for example, Let's say I want to build a chatbot for a pizza shop. Okay, let's say I want to build a chatbot for a pizza shop. So let's try to imagine first thing, how does a conversation will go between a customer and a shopkeeper there, right? Let's say I am a customer, I want to buy a pizza, I go to a pizza shop. So let's see how the conversation will be, right? So I might say, okay, I would like to order a pizza. Okay, so then a shopkeeper might say, what kind of a pizza would you like to order? So then shopkeeper then after the shopkeeper says, I would like I might say that I would like to order a pepperoni pizza with a lot of toppings, maybe extra cheese, right? So then the shopkeeper says, okay, it will take 30 minutes to prepare, please wait, right? That's how the conversation grows, right? So this is a groundwork that you need to do. So here is a chatbot that I built. I would like to show a demo. So this is a chatbot that I built for a flower shop. So, okay, let's say you're going for buying a flowers. Okay, so how does a conversation will look like? So Amazon Lex. So as a name represents Amazon Lex, it is actually derived from Amazon Alexa. We know Alexa, we love Alexa, right? So by using Amazon Lex chatbot, not only you can able to interact with chat, you could also interact with voice. That's awesome. So here is a chatbot. I could able to interact with both text and chat. Let's give a try. I would like to order some flowers. So now I am inputting audio.
What type of flowers would you like to order?
You can see we got a response back from a chatbot saying that what type of flowers would you like to order? So I can say roses. So what day want this roses to be picked up? You can see once I interact with text, I will just get a text. Okay, so I can say, let me just mention a date. Let's say 2022, iPhone 10, iPhone 12. That is tomorrow, right? So at what time you want this roses to be picked up? 10 a.m.
Pick up the roses at what time on October
So sometimes
12th, 2022?
it couldn't recognize as a time. I can just say 10 a.m. So, okay, your roses will be ready to pick up around 10 a.m. on that particular date. It will cost $25. Does it sounds okay? Okay.
Thanks. Your order for roses has been placed and will be ready for pickup by 10 o'clock on October 12th, 2022.
Awesome. So this is all about Amazon Lex. So get started with AWS Machine Learning Specialty Certification course. Don't miss it. So now let us open a session for Q&A. Go ahead, throw all your questions. I'm here to help. So you can unmute your mic and you can able to talk. Otherwise, you can mention your questions in a chat window. So I could able to answer that. So go ahead. If you have questions, please unmute your mics and you can talk. So I will answer in the meantime if there is any questions in the chat window. Can we get a recordings of this session? Kevin has asked this question. Yes, Kevin, we will be sharing an access to this recordings of this demo session. You will receive it probably by today or maybe today, tomorrow evening. Okay. Awesome. So please make sure if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So I can able to help you. So yes, please go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay. Hello. I would like to ask you something regarding the the time period where the certification is valid. It has some expiration time.
So okay, the certification, got it. So usually, if I'm not wrong, so this certification will have an expiration of at least 3 years. Yeah. I guess I have answered the questions. I guess you're asking about let's say once after clearing an exam with AWS, does it have any expiration time, right? Yes. So
Right,
it
yeah,
will be an
that's
average
right.
of 3 years. Yes. So obviously every certification program, not just AWS, I'm talking about, it may be AWS Solution Architect, it may be DevOps, it may be any Google Cloud certification, anything. So every certification has expiration date. So the reason why they will have an expiration date, because the technology is not saturated yet. It will never going to be saturated. So what happens, every day there's a new tool, every day there's a new thing to learn. Let's say after 3 years, or after once you complete a certification, there's a new things that industry might be using, right? The things that you have learned in past 3 years, they might not be active in the industry, right? So there's some more things to be learned. That's why you could able to renewal this particular certification. But most of the things that you have learned would apply, but there are maybe possibly a 10 or 30 percentage of new things that you need to learn. So if you would like to connect with me in a LinkedIn, I have shared a LinkedIn profile, the link in a chat window. You could able to connect with me in a LinkedIn. So you can able to use that particular link that I have shared in a chat window. So please let me know if anyone has any other questions I would like to answer. So I got few questions and answer in a chat window. Okay, so someone who has named as attendee 6, sorry, I don't know the name. So as a good question, for the services in AWS, can we gain access to them through the free account? Yes, absolutely yes. The entire AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification course will be covered through a free account itself. So if you create an AWS account, you will get an access to a 1 year free trial. So through that free trial, you could able to access most of the AWS services for free. And so why do AWS provides that free trial? Obviously for the learning curve. So it would be much more enough for you to use that particular account for learning. Okay, so Karan asked a good question. What is the level of Python is required for ML certification? That's a really good question. Okay, so here you can see here it's not just about a Python. It's not about a programming. Let me tell you why. Because this course is not just about you go and write a code, create a model. No, it's about data engineering tools, it's about data analysis tools, it's about modeling, it's about model deployment, those stuff, right? So let's say in most of the data engineering tools that we're going to explore, right? For example, let me just go ahead. Yeah, here we go. So let's say data engineering tools that we're going to explore, like let's say Amazon S3, right? So Kinesis, Athena, right? So it may be working on databases like this. We don't need a programming at all over there because everything will be on a AWS itself. So you don't need any much programming experience for that. But obviously, let's say even for data analysis tools like QuickSight, probably no need any programming experience. But when it comes to a machine learning purpose, let's say where you want to build a model, where you want to deploy a model, yes, you need to have some programming skills. And what is the level of programming skills you need? A minimum level, let's say if you can able to understand the logics, you know how if condition works, you know how for loop works. So more than enough, you know how to import a simple library. I mean, the minimum prerequisite is what we suggest. Anyone with a knowledge of any basic programming, not mandatorily Python, but if you're good at, let's say, even a JavaScript, a C, you could able to get started with this session. Because that's why if we have included a basics as part of our session, we'll be starting our session with refreshing a basics. And there's some more support would be given for the people who want to do a lot of practices on a Python. We could provide a lot of other materials, would help you to get started, Karan. I hope I answered that question. Yep. Let me know if you guys have any other question. Feel free to unmute your mics, and I would be here to answer you guys always. Go ahead. I'm here to help. Obviously, answer all your questions that you have. So, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm
All right,
here, I guess.
regarding the AWS instance during the course, we will have access to the instance, or will be how to say this? a magistral classes lessons. I mean, you expose the
Yes.
utilities sharing your screen, or the participants, the students will have access to a part to directly. I mean, directly to AWS instances.
So, okay, so you mean like, correct me if I'm not wrong. So my audio is a bit weird here. I couldn't get the quality output from you. But so I guess you're asking about the instances, for example, if I'm not wrong. So the instances that we're going to use on top of AWS for model training, for model tuning, for model deployment, is that comes under a free trial or not? Is that your question? So can you please confirm me once again, or can you please repeat it?
Okay, okay. Let me ask again. Sorry. No,
Please
my
go
question is more focused on each student will have access to any instance, AWS instance. I mean, as a student, I
Got it.
could get into AWS instance, or you will share from your screen how
Okay.
the tools can be managed.
Okay, cool. So let me answer this question. I got it. So here, let's say, as part of, let's say, once after you complete the registration, we'll be helping you to create an AWS account for yourself. That's a 1 year free trial AWS account. So once you create an AWS account, you'll be having a complete access to your AWS. So you have an access to instances. I'm talking about, it may be the CPU instances or a GPU instances. So yes, you will be having an access. And let's say, for example, let's say if you want to train a model, let's say you need some sample code to be get started, a sample package, sample data, right? Those things will be shared with, we will be sharing from our screen. I mean, obviously I will be sharing a links, you could able to download it, and we will be working out. So one more thing, this is a complete hands-on session. Everything that I will be building on my screen will be literally replicating on your screen. Okay, so that's how the things work. So I hope I have answered your question. If I'm not wrong, feel free to ask me again.
Okay, that answered my question. Thank you.
Awesome. Yep. Okay, so Sabit asked a question. Could you tell me about the Amazon price list for ML? So if you're asking about, okay, if I'm not wrong, like if you're asking about the pricing structure of this course, let me go ahead to that slide so we can discuss it again. Okay, so there are three packages that we are offering. So you could take any package, let's say, but you need some more facility, but all these three packages offers the same value as part of a course. So here, as a basic pack, it starts from just 15,000 rupees. That's it. And we have an advanced package start from 19,999, and we have advanced plus, that is 24,000. So one single difference between these things is over here. So let's say once after completing this course, you will be attending an exam preparation session. So step one, what happens? Step one, 40 hours hands-on session. Step two, you will be attending exam preparation session. Okay, and step three, you will be taking a practice test. Step three, you'll be taking a practice test, and a step four, you could able to schedule an exam and you can able to clear an exam. That's how the things work. So once after completing a course, you will be taking an exam preparation session, and you can take a practice test. If you see AWS examination will be, let's say, will be a 65 multiple choice questions in the examination. So we'll be conducting a same exam through our practice test one over here. Let's say if you're taking an advanced plan, so along with practice test one, you'll be getting a practice test two, another set of 65 questions. So these are basically dumps that we are providing. So then you get a 6 months job support. So this help all the candidates to lift from our side. Let's say, like obviously tomorrow you will be getting a job, and let's say you will be new to a tools in AWS, maybe generally on training a model, tuning it, hyperparameter tuning it. So you need someone to guide you, right? Right? Someone. This is this is where Psitron Technologies comes as a mentors, will support you as part of your job, right? As I mentioned, we will be not writing a code for you, or we will be not building your project, because that comes because you'll be signing an NDAs, all this stuff. So what we'll be doing, we'll be acting as a support here. Let's say if you want to, let's say you have a task that has been given from your company, where you want to create, where you want to show your, let's say your team leader or maybe someone or manager a sample model to be deployed on SageMaker. You want to show them, so we will be supporting you to get started with the right documentation, and we will ensure that so whether you can able to deploy a model efficiently or not. So we will be supporting that particular job. So let's say when it comes to advanced plus, so again, everything in basic and advanced will be covered. You can take practice test 1, practice test 2. Instead of 6 months job support, you will get 1 year of job support. That is more than enough. So then you get 1 free take live session. So this is really benefited. Let's say you're taking a batch. So this is going to be a so once you take this particular batch, you complete this batch in November, and let's say for the next batch that we're going to conduct, the same course you can able to completely take it for free. That's it. That's how the things work, and this is a pricing structure for prices in USD. So Karan asked a question. Okay, do we need to apply any discount code to promotions to be basic to advanced? Not necessary, Karan. That's what the thing is. So let's say the discount coupon is just a date. Let's say we know that everyone who's going to register in this week, everyone is going to register within 16th. We know that. We know the time, an exact time date that you are registered. So they will be automatically given a advance plan. So that's it. There is no coupon code is necessary, but I will tell you one more thing. Let's say if you're buying more than 2 tickets, for example, let's say you're booking a ticket for your friend. Let's say you're buying a 2 basic tickets. If you buy 2 basic tickets, you'll be getting a 10% discount automatically applied in the platform itself. That applies for advanced, that applies for advanced plus. Let's say if you're picking a 2 tickets, you'll get 10% discount in the price itself. Okay, so that's one more thing. So Harish asked a question, how many are we here? There are many people still, Harish, in a session. So please let me know. I will spare few more minutes. I can spare the entire day for you. Even I could wake up for you throughout the night. But yeah, so let me just help you. If you guys have any questions, I'm here to help. Please go ahead and mention your question in a chat window so I can able to answer you guys. Yep, go ahead. So ask me a question during, let's say, how is the session is going to be. Let's say we have a 4-hour session, what we're going to do in a first half and what we're going to do in a second half, how it's going to be. So let me answer that question for myself. So let's say every day there will be some hands-on always. Let's say at least for the first half of a session, at least for the second half of a session. So every day we'll be busy with doing hands-ons. So we'll be, this, as I mentioned, this is not just focused on clearing an exam, it's more focused on job. We'll be discussing about the customer case studies, how exactly a particular company is deployed a project, how they are working on that, right? Those stories we'll be discussing on that. We'll be sharing a lot of practice materials that you could go to home and do a lot of practices once you are done for that particular day. So yeah, so there are more things. Yep. So you will be, let's say once after completing a session, let's say every Saturday, Sunday, we'll be having a session. Let me just pick up a schedule so you can get some better idea. So here we go. So every Saturday and Sunday, we will be having a session. And every Monday, you will be receiving a recordings. So you could able to access the recordings very efficiently. I mean, so we'll be organizing according to the chapters. Let's say every topic, individual topics could be accessed, and you could download the resource materials for that 2 days, and we'll be sharing the links. So yeah, that's the thing. So I hope you have downloaded the curriculum. So let me share the curriculum links once again in the chat window. So I'm going to share all the links once again in the chat window. So the first link is, I have shared the links. The first link is for registration. The second link is for downloading a curriculum. The third link is for downloading a free ebooks. And below there, I have my contact informations.
Sarath?
Yes, please. Yeah, please don't mind to mention your name and just to mention what you're doing, because I forget to ask that. So you can just mention your name and what you're doing, student, a working professional. Then you can ask your question, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Sarath, this is Srinivas.
Hi,
Uh,
Srinivas. Go ahead.
yeah, hi, Sarath. I'm a working professional. Currently, I'm working for LTI. Um, I
Good.
just want to ask, like, so far, how many batches have been, able to taken this course, and what is the output among those batches? Like, how many people were able to get opportunities after
Okay,
completing this?
good. So, okay, so that's a good question. So we are doing a batch 7. Yeah, exactly. It's a batch 7 for this year. So every batch, there is a participants who are taking these exams. You can check the feedback, the form that I provided in I mean the curriculum PDF itself. There are we have put the people who have taken an exam. But let me tell you, so there are wide varieties of audience that we have seen, let's say throughout these batches that we have conducted. So there are three categories of audience, Srinivas, that we usually see here. So they comes with a unique requirement. That's what I'm trying to say, because let's say it's not just focused on clearing an exam, it's more focused on a job and fulfilling your needs, right? So we give different suggestions for different participants. There are three categories of professionals, they attend this particular course. So there are first categories of professionals, working professionals, and students also could be included. So their focus would be they have to clear this, they have to complete the course, and they have to take an exam. Okay, there's a categories of peoples. They are pretty much sure they want to take an exam after completing this course. Okay, so there's a second categories of audience. Their focus would be completing this course and getting a skill set. They might not be immediately taking an exam. So I will tell you why. Because so the particular candidate who might be taking this course, there, let's say he might be having a job requirement. Maybe in their company they started using AWS, the tools of ML and AI, data engineering tools. So he need a mandate skill that he want to get, like hands-on skill that he need to get started. So those candidates immediately they might not take exam, so they will take few months to take an exam. And there are third categories of audience. This is where, yeah, we'll be having a students, even a college professors, they attend this course for their research purpose, because AWS has a lot of tools as part of a SageMaker itself. A lot of things could be useful for the professors who are into a research PhD, let's say. So this is where the students also comes into the picture. So yes, every batch there are people who are taking an exam, but let me tell you the workflow that we are suggesting for those candidates always. Okay, so what happens, let's say if you are an existing data scientist, okay, you have a skill set of building a model, uh, training a model, deployment, all this stuff, but let's say you don't have a knowledge on AWS, right? So what we suggest, once after completing this course, you can take a minimum of 15 days. That's it for the, again, for preparing yourself. So once after completing this course, you can take minimum of 15 days. You can take this practice exam that I'm talking about, the practice exam 1 or practice exam 2, however you have registered for. So this practice exams that we are offering would be more than enough to clear this exam. So within 15 days your preparation could be over and you could take it. And we have seen maximum the candidates are taking 30 days to prepare it, and then they take an exam actually. So, and one more thing I would like to say, so here is the actual domains this particular certification is focusing on. So data engineering, exploratory data analysis, modeling, and machine learning implementation and operations. So this will be the examination weightage. I mean, you'll be having a 20% questions based on data engineering, 36% questions on modeling, all those stuff. So let's talk about the best case scenario and worst case scenario in clearing this exam, right? That's very important to provide a number for you. So the worst case scenario, let's say, okay, so the worst case scenario, let's say let's say you are really good at domain 1 and domain 2 and domain 3, right? For some reason, let's say you have no idea on domain 4, right? But let's say obviously after completing this course end to end, you will be having a knowledge on domain 1, 2, 3, and 4. But let's say for a worst case scenario, you have no idea on domain 4, okay? But still you could able to clear this exam just by answering, I mean, just by performing good in all this domain 1 and domain 3 and domain 3, not maybe on domain 4. So this is a worst case scenario. So I hope you are getting some idea here. So for a best case scenario, just by completing this practice exam 1, practice exam 2, that is assured you could able to clear that exam efficiently. Yeah. Yep. So I guess I have answered the questions. Let me go to the next question that is there in a chat window. Okay, so Anand asked a question: is this training covers cloud and ML certification content? Okay, so Anand, so this particular certification, that is AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification, is all about AWS cloud. It's all about machine learning on top of a cloud. So it is not just about machine learning tools on a cloud. It's also about general tools. Let's talk about, let's say, linear regression, polynomial regression using deep learning frameworks like TensorFlow, Apache MXNet. So general tools, general ML frameworks will be also covered. So may I have a link for certifications? Darwin asked a question. So the link for certification. Okay. So I mean, so link for certification. So okay, there's a bit of confusion there. So a certification is an exam that you could able to schedule. Let's say once after completing this course, once after you practice with exam practice test, you could able to schedule an exam by yourself on a portal. We'll talk about more details about schedule an exam, all those stuff in exam preparation session. So it's not a certificate that you can get after completing this demo session. It won't work like that. You need to clear an exam to get a certificate again. So folks, you need to see like whether you need to clear an exam. Do you have a requirement for that or not? So because obviously clearing an exam definitely adds a value for you. There is no doubt about it. As we are talking about, it adds an expertise and credibility for you. It definitely adds a value. So is there a e-certificate? So yes, so here once after completing AWS Machine Learning Specialty course, you will be receiving a course completion certificate from Psitron Technologies. And once you clear an exam, you'll be getting a AWS Machine Learning certificate from AWS itself.
Sarath, thanks for answering. This is Srinivas. Thanks for answering my previous question. My last question is like,
Please go ahead.
yeah. So you told that the entire program is of having hands-on experience, right?
Sorry, can you please repeat if you don't mind?
Yeah. You said that the complete program is with hands-on experience exercises, right?
Exactly.
But in the exam, do we have really this much time? I mean, if there is any question, do we need to process some steps and answer and
okay, that's a great question. Okay, see here. Okay, that's a good question. That's an interesting question. In examination you don't really build any model at all. No, the complete examination is a multiple choice questions. There are 65 multiple choice questions. In this, you don't write any programming, you don't build any model there. All you do is there will be a question, and you can able to pick an answer. There will be a task. I mean, you don't perform any programming or a hands-on there. There will be a picture and there will be an output. What is the output that is expected for this process? And you just pick a multiple choice answer for that. No, then Srinivas, then you can ask a question. Then why we are doing an hands-on in this course? That's the reality, because it's not just focused on clearing an exam. If it is focused on clearing an exam, that's a different scenario. Because what happens after clearing an exam? You go for a job, right? You go for a high-paid job, right? Because machine learning jobs are the high-paid jobs in industry. But once after getting this certificate, it adds more plus to your resume. But at the end of the day, you need to go and build a project, right, for your clients. So that's why we do a lot of hands-on.
Yeah, I got it, sir. Thanks for answering. But the WhatsApp group, whatever you are showing the reviews, so will it be active even after the course so that the group members will be able to discuss their doubts?
Obviously, yes, because that's what I'm talking about in as part of a community support. So in a community support, you will be always connected with us, Srinivas. Let's say priority with me. You can ping me anytime. So we will be there for you to answer your questions over there.
No, not during program, even after the program.
Community support, I'm talking about after the program, even after the program. Is not just a program. See, there is no Tata bye-bye after completing this course. So you will be sticking connected with us. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome, Srinivas, anytime. Yep. Anand asked a question, any e-certificate for this session, kindly send. Good webinar, thank you. Thank you so much, Anand. But we didn't plan for providing any e-certificate for a demo session. Yeah, but we will consider that for our next upcoming sessions, Anand. I'm sorry for that. So yeah, awesome. So I will spare few more minutes. If you guys have any question, feel free to ask. And remember that this offer only for till 16th October. Register for basic plan, you will get a free upgrade to an advanced plan. And if you register any more than 2 tickets, you will get directly 10% discount on that particular ticket. Karan asked questions. Registration and fee must be paid before 16th. Let's say if you're upgrading for, let's say if you want to get a free upgrade for advanced plan, make sure you register before 16th. Okay. So, and again, we are not getting a lot of peoples to this course. It's just limited to 20 peoples only, because we do a lot of hands-on. There will be a lot of questions would be asked from you. There's a lot of labs would be performing, so it would be difficult for us to handle a lot of peoples in a one single batch. We are looking forward just for 20 people, that's it, not more than that. So the tickets would be sold out very soon. We don't have a lot of time, so I hope this provides a more clarity. Still, if you have any questions, feel free to call me, ping me to the number that I have shared. We would be always here to help you. So I will share the links once again in the chat window if you want to get that. So the first link is for registration, the second link is for downloading a curriculum, the third link is for downloading a free ebooks, and the contact details of mine. So all the informations that we have mentioned in the curriculum, I mean, the hands-on would be covered. So not only that, let's say we would be sharing, let's say, the different use case documents for all the different algorithms that you could able to try after the sessions. So the hands-on session on the during a live session would be conducted, and still we will share a lot of use case materials for other algorithms also for you. So there's a lot to be covered in this particular course. Don't miss it. So yep. So this is an advanced certification program that is available in a market, and just imagine the benefits that it could able to offer later. And thank you so much. I really appreciate your valuable time that you spent in this particular session. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed the demos, and I hope you have learned something in this demo session. So don't miss AWS Machine Learning Specialty certification. And if you're looking for an upgrade, just make sure you register for basic package. That's it. Basic package within 16th of October, you get a free upgrade to advanced plan. Thank you so much, and good evening, good afternoon, and good morning for everyone who is joining in different part of the world. Thank you then. Have a great day. Bye.